Howdy, howdy, y'all. Welcome to another Super Metroid race. I don't remember the name of this tournament, despite the fact that I am playing in it. One's here for you between mm2nescartridge and caioxg002. Hopefully I'm saying that name right. I didn't actually ask him before the stream. Be a bit awkward if I wasn't. But anyways, it's going to be an interesting race. Obviously, there's a pretty big difference in seed here. MM2 being the 3rd seed in the tournament. This is actually his first couple races. And Chow being the 35th seed out of 36. Has already been able to take a race, though. Was able to take a game off of Travatox earlier last week, I believe. Also been using the Wario sprite, so some people may be a fan of that. Of course, I am Derp. I am here on commentary and tracking, which you'll have to bear with me a little bit. I am doing both of those, and I'm running an area tracker on my end just to keep track of everything that the runners are doing. So if I miss anything, be sure to yell at me for it, and I will maybe fix it eventually. But yeah, I do things to learn from this race. Obviously, in MM2's position, he is the more experienced runner, and he's more experienced in both the randomizer and in the game in general. Obviously, one of the best vanilla runners in the tournament, maybe the best, depending on the form Sloters can show. Obviously, she has the highest any percent, or I guess the lowest any percent record, but MM2 is right behind that. But either way, at worst, MM2 is the 2nd best vanilla runner in this tournament, so he's at a pretty big advantage. So what I really want to focus on is the decisions that he makes, that he makes because he has such a movement advantage. Chow, obviously a newer runner to both the game and this specific randomizer. So I expect you to see MM2 play a little bit more safe, maybe a little bit more thorough. We'll see how that goes, if that could potentially punish him for over-checking. We do have an early Powerbomb start. We have the best start here with the Super Powerbomb E-Tank. Lets us check meme route portal, and we have our 2 important ammo types right out of the gate. It's the ideal start for a lot of players. We even get a missile pack, so we have all 3 types of ammo, which is non-trivial, especially just for menuing. It turns out you kind of get used to menuing with the missiles and supers. MM2 actually took a hit from the hopper there. That's scary. He's got enough health to take another, though, so he'll be fine. Yeah, we saw the Croc entry there. Okay, it did. The Croc entry there in meme route. A little bit interesting. We can't follow that, obviously, with this low health. Chow's actually going to have to be a bit careful. Opted to just kill all the hoppers, which makes sense. Fairly safe. But yeah, there's a pretty common situation in area rando where you will be running from that portal to the chronic portal in Upper Norfair, since those portals can be kind of awkward to get to when you're on low health. So obviously that play is not available to us, and I tabbed out to actually track the morph they had, and unfortunately did not survive the hoppers on the way out. So he's going to have to go back down and get that morph plus ammo, but he does know now that he doesn't need to check beam route, because that portal is not going to lead him anywhere. Also, shoutouts to MM2 for using the Blat split. Big fan, I used that for a long time. Also, I said I would do it before the race. Shoutouts to MM2 for starting a minute late. So That's why we didn't start on time. It's all his fault. Be sure to make fun of him in chat. We've got an early double jump. Obviously a Dash exclusive item, which is enabled for this tournament, which I think a lot of people would say it's a worthy inclusion to the randomizer. But there are definitely some people, especially people who already don't like space jump, which has some janky mechanics sometimes. And double jump is really just a worse space jump, but it is still another movement item. And once you know what you can do with just one extra jump, really start to make some powerful plays with it. And once again, I think that's where someone like more experience is going to shine, having more knowledge of what that double jump actually opens for him and where he can use it to speed up his run. Chow should be getting back up there shortly. Just gotta recollect all these items from Retro Print. We've got a Plasma here at Terminator, another really strong early item. Most enemies fairly trivial, which is especially relevant in Lower Norfair, of course. Here's that Chronic portal I was talking about. So that's two of the three kind of awkward Red Tower, or not Red Tower, Upper Norfair portals to check out of the way, the crate entry and the Chronic portal. So all that's left is single chamber. And we actually find the top of Upper Norfair too. And then finding at the Kago portal the back of the Business Center elevator through the vanilla crate entry. And for those who don't play a lot of this randomizer, there's a pretty popular saying among top runners. You see Business Center, you do Business Center. It's a really nice spot to find early. Just two really quick checks. Obviously, the ice check isn't free with one tank. And there's a gravity suit. Holy moly. Already a really stacked early game. But yeah, this ice check isn't free. I expect we'll see MM2 save scum it. And then if it's an important item, you would actually need good drops to survive the way out on one tank. But if it's not a great item and MM2 doesn't survive, it's possible we see him just not go back to it. Get some portals tracked real quick for myself. I didn't actually see MM2 save because I tapped out, but I'm sure he did. No way you would do this here, otherwise. Drops were okay. He would need, if this isn't a knee tank, which it is, so it doesn't matter, but if it wasn't, he would Sovas to get out. Which fortunately with the Plasma Beam, he can farm them very quickly. So it would be very possible to do so. But again, with the second E-Tank, it doesn't really matter. And MM2 can even take the time. We'll see if this makes it through the gate. It does. Look at that. So now we're gonna go up and check the other portal in Business Center elevator, which I do like checking the items before checking. It's like even if you get Varia, you're still probably gonna follow this portal, and of course it ends up being Green Bryn, so turns out it's pretty good. You're gonna go down. This is kind of the awkward Green Bryn portal because it's the one in the middle, so you kind of want to check this portal down here first, but that is running you the opposite direction of the rest of the items, and if this is a good portal and then the top portal is bad, then you are kind of wasting time because you have to run down to this portal anyways. And it is good. Actually, yeah, m2's just gonna follow this now. Possible. The only one that we can't do is Ridley. Dragon is a bit of a pain on this ammo though, because we have to use the ammo to damage her. But worth at least checking the boss. It's possible this could be really difficult to go back to, so getting this out of the way now is definitely a good idea. And we'll see if it's possible. It looks like Chow, meanwhile, actually didn't go down to Business Center, is just doing these green brain checks now. Hopefully he'll get back to Business Center soon, because we know there's a gravity. That would be pretty devastating to miss. But what boss do we have? It is Vanilla, look at that. Great, gonna be a pretty easy boss to dispatch. We'll get to M2 can continue up to Big Pink, where Chow is right now. Taking this save is interesting. I'm not really sure if he's checking sports bomb. And if so, I'm not really sure why. Might just be a safety save. Nice 2% power bomb drop there, by the way. That's actually non-trivial. This Chow was pretty low on power bombs. A Varia suit. Vanilla Kraid with the normal item in the back. That is both suits for MM2. Looking pretty good right now. Let's see. Looks like a either first or second try wavegate there from Chow. Let's see what this item holds. Screw Attack's also a nice item. In the same vein of Plasma, it makes a lot of the enemies in more difficult areas pretty trivial to get through. Also in Green Bryn, it means you don't need to bombs too much because you can use that Screw Attack to get from one side of Green Bryn to the other. I don't know if Chow checked the charge item. Maybe he did already. Actually, I think that was a second E-tank. That would make sense. I would assume that's the case at least. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong about that. But yeah, the best case for Chow is that this portal is not something that he can follow. There's Speed Booster, by the way. That's another really good item. Especially for MM2, who has both suits. That is Ammo Go mode. Which MM2 is capable of doing suitless CF clip, but with that, you don't even need to worry about it. So it should be getting that shortly. Needed to see MM2 pick up that E-tank at charge, so confirmed. Gonna be getting Screw Attack. I actually marked Screw Attack for him and not Chow. Oops. But now they both have it, so we can pretend that I marked those in the correct order. Portal is bad, then Chow gets pushed back to probably check the bottom portal, which is Kraid. That will get him Varia, and then that will probably push him to Upper Norfair, which will get him Gravity and everything else there. So that's the best case. The worst case is if this is just like Red Tower at the top of Green Bryn, because then Chow probably gets pressured into following that and just misses out on his suits for an indeterminate amount of time. It looks like he's actually taking the speed straight over to Waterway, which is not a bad play, but definitely doesn't feel the best because you have to do a lot of back and forth in this area to do that. Also, without that gravity suit, it's a little bit this check, since you have to run all the way through the water there and back. You're probably not very happy to see that power bomb, given that he is literally just go mode ammo from finishing the seed. There's a unlikely to get back to that. Might, again, if this portal is really bad, he might end up checking it on the way back, but with both suits, there's not really a bad portal for MM2 to follow. It basically have to be like Croc or Turian. One of the two dead ends. And our final item is Ice Beam, as if the seed hasn't given us enough. It's kind of crazy how stacked this early game has been. We've got both suits speed ice in 15 minutes on MM2's side. We're really only missing that charge beam for a true go seed. Without it, MM2 is going to have to do a lot of ammo collection in order to finish the game. We're up to 40 missiles already. Obviously, the minimum ammo required is 40-60. Technically, you can do 30-60 if you want to be really slow and break all of the Zebs and the glass from Mother Brain. But probably going to want to collect more than that. And obviously, for each 5 supers you're missing, you need to pick up 15 missiles. Excuse me. My stream lagged a bit, but it actually is Turian, so MM2 does have to go back. Again, good news for Chow. That will mean that he also has to go back and will get those suits that he's missing. It's not the worst Turian location. Green Bryn connected to 2 one-ways is a little bit troll, obviously, but the third portal is in not Red Tower, Upper Norfair, which has a lot of access points. So it shouldn't be too hard to get back to Turian at the end of the game. MM2 actually not going to bother checking Waterway. He's already committing to ammo, so going to miss out on that wave beam, which isn't going to be a big deal at all. But it's notable, I suppose. I'll be interested to see how he plays. I assume MM2 is just going into Upper Norfair, probably just to check single chamber. I doubt he does a lot of item checks. Maybe could argue checking the reserve, because that's the quickest check and has 2 ammo checks alongside it. But actually MM2 is going the vanilla way up to the top of Bubble Mountain. You might check. He doesn't know? No, he does. Okay. So again, kind of like what I was talking about earlier, MM2 going to be playing a little bit more thorough than he might in other matches because of how much more experience he has. Just wants to play safe. Does get a high jump though. Again, if things couldn't get any better, we just also have high jump and speed now for really good movement. Which, having both of those items is something that really favors the better execution runner, because the more movement items you have, the more movement options you have. And the better you are at the game, the better you can utilize those movement options. So finding a seed with early movement items when you're already at the movement disadvantage is not the most comfortable position. So I'm going to find the top of Red Tower. I'm going to go up the elevator and check this portal before checking any of the ammo up here. I think that's fine. I may have gone to check the ammo right away, though. And we find a croc. I'm not going to bother with that. So, ends up paying off. MM2 is just going to go back down anyways. Probably check the ammo on the way down. Important note, since MM2 has already found both Kraid and Turian, they're both connected to Green Bryn. If he finds the good end of a boss area, 3 boss areas left, obviously Wreckship, East Meridia, and Lower Norfair, he can just follow it and not bother checking the bad side of the portal. You can just leave out the way he came, so we can do like a back-to-back Lower Norfair or a front-to-front Wreckship. Because he isn't running into the risk of Turian or Kraid being there, and he has to go all the way there to get that, and then go all the way back. He already knows where those are, so he doesn't need to worry about it. Unfortunately, all these Red Tower ammo checks are all coming up missiles, which is not ideal. I think you're already up to 60, but only 15 supers is pretty awkward. I still expect MM2 to stick with the ammo plan, unless things just go catastrophically bad. Maybe starts checking behind bosses, see if he can spike a charge beam there, but charge beam really is the only item he's looking for. And he's actually, looks like he's just going to follow front of LN here at the middle of Red Tower. Makes sense. You can use your double jump to get up to the top. Although, it's actually a little bit more awkward with high jump, because a lot of players will practice that without high jump. But it's pretty easy from the left side, as you saw. So I expect MM2 will go front to back, just clear this area and then leave out the back to find a new portal. Could argue going front and then going down to all the Red Tower portals, but there's a decent chance we're getting looped back into Red Tower anyways, because there are 3 portals at the bottom. And there's also a decent chance that we get looped into another boss area, which would be ideal. Obviously, with how Dash limits possible area connections, we can't have all 3 boss areas in a loop. That is not allowed by the solver, actually. So if that's what the seed rolls, then it would roll completely new portals. And yeah, the question's already been answered in chat, but the symbol above double jump is gravity heat reduction, which is another optional setting in the Dash Randomizer. It would give gravity a 25% heat reduction, which is a lot more than it sounds, actually, having played a few games with it. Dude getting another missile back. Let's check on that as well. But yeah, gravity reduction is not enabled for this tournament, which is why the icon is grayed out. If it was active, it would be glowing orange and yellow, I believe. But it is still part of the HUD, and since we have gravity suit equipped, it does show up. It just isn't active, which is why it's grayed out. See if MM2 can get a little bit luckier on these ammo checks. We've got one coming up right here at the PBs of Shame. So yet another missile, up to 70. With only 15 supers. MM2's actually going to have to be careful. If this is a Ridley here, he wants to have full supers, so he might actually have to farm a little bit before checking this boss. It is doable. He will have to use power bombs for it, though. But if he enters without full supers, especially with the current power bomb count he has, I think it would barely be enough. And of course, the worst possible luck, mm2 getting all health from both pirates, so now he's just gonna have to farm the bugs. Fortunately, the bugs giving him a little bit better of a time than those pirates. That is kind of crazy. Which ones are major items and tanks? Yeah, no grapple beam to speed up this farm or anything else. And I don't want to pause to turn off ice beam, so we just got to do this this awful bug farm. Wasn't the worst thing ever though. And of course it doesn't matter, it was just Dragon. We do have Speed Booster to take care of Dragon fairly easily. Looks like Chao is going to be making some of these checks. He does have Ice Beam, I forgot to mark that. Looks like he's not going to bother with that reserve, but there's a Super Missile that mm2 does not have. You can kill Dragon with just 3 sparks if all 3 sparks are positioned perfectly. mm2 is able to do that. Really nice fight. The way that works is Dragon has multiple hitboxes, one on her forehead and one from like her face down to her body. If you spark in between those 2 hitboxes, your spark actually does double damage, and it can do around 2,000 if your spark is optimal enough. So Dragon has 6,000 health, so those 3 sparks are enough to deal lethal damage. mm2 was able to get it, rewarded with fanfare. Chao does have Gravity Suit as well. Harder to tell with the Wario sprite, but it is purple, and he also has that gravity heat reduction marker on his HUD. So, you know, he does have gravity if the heat reduction is turned off, as previously mentioned. Probably going to check this wave beam as well, so he's coming up on high jump. And then our runners will be at an equal standing in terms of major items. Chao actually still has the wave beam over mm2. I didn't see with that item, mm2 just... I think it was just another E-tank, judging by his health. Somebody let me know though, I was tabbed out, updating the tracker. Wasn't E-tank, thanks for letting me know, chat. With all these missiles, he actually feels pressure to do this longer ammo check here at the PBs in jail, which is yet another missile. Everything, I think mm2 has picked up, oh my goodness, like 8 missile packs in a row, is that right? 10 even? Because he had 30-15 at one. Has actually found 10 missiles in a row. MM2 chat telling me he did actually check that item to make sure it was a missile at least. Does finally find a super here at Three Musketeers. Also gonna get this Machiavellian portal check. We'll see where this goes. While Chow is actually checking X-ray. MM2 finds Main Street. So a lot of portals here in West Meridia. We are still looking for Wreck Ship and East Meridia. Chow finding that upgraded double jump here with the space jump. Something that MM2 will not be getting back to. MM2 finding the back of East Meridia here at Meridia map. He's going to check the other two portals to see if he can find the front of East, but if not, I expect him to follow that actually. Gonna spark up to yet another missile, up to 85. Still needs 5 more super packs to finish the game. I wonder if we see like a Mama Turtle check in him too. Looks like he's just going up. Probably gonna check Crab Supers though. Just gonna get every giving him what he wants. Might have cut out for a second there. But looks like MM2 did find another super, so we're starting to get what we want in terms of ammo. MM2 is. Chow, meanwhile, getting another E-tank at Spazer, it looks like. And here's a much nicer portal to follow, that front of ship. MM2 just gonna go straight there. And front of East is over here at the bottom of Red Tower, so MM2, we'll see what he ends up finding on the pre-aqueduct portal. But good chance he ends up doing it back to front East to get back to Red Tower. Chow also finding the right side of Praeteria here. Didn't see exactly which order he checked the Red Tower portals in, but it was somewhere in Red Tower. The pre-aqueduct's actually going to go to Moat, so that's pretty interesting. MM2 does find Ridley, has plenty of ammo to fight him now, but it's going to require a lot of missiles, so not the most fun fight. Need 60 total missiles, assuming he hits all 20 supers, which looks like he's fine. Does mean we will find Fantoon at East Meridia here for Chow. We get vanilla bombs behind Ridley. Another item, but also another not charge item. Chow's actually going straight down into the sand pit. Hopefully this was the right one and not the right one. Looks like it was the correct sand pit in the left, but whatever was there, probably just an E-tank Chow did not want. Here's a nice super pack though. MM2 will likely be getting that as well at some point. Nice double super, actually. M2 finds a super under the ocean. So once he gets those two at Aqueduct, that will bring him up to 40. And he will be technically a missile pack short of Go Mode ammo. We'll see if he wants to do any of these other ammo checks in West Meridia before checking the portal. He is going up to Pre-Aqueduct, and there are a few ammo checks up there. There's the fast one at Beach, and then a couple more at Oasis, Watering Hole. I always forget which one is which. Looks like MM2 is just gonna go straight for the portal. That will give him a moat, and actually another super. I forgot about this one here on the pedestal. So 95-45 with those Aqueduct supers is going to be enough for MM2. He'll probably check Precious Room as well, and if that's a missile, that'll give him 5, which is more than enough. I believe this portal here is East Meridia. There it is. So MM2 can do a nice cozy front to front east. Doesn't need to worry about anything else. We'll be able to get back to Green Bryn fairly quickly. It's actually not great. I actually think the best way is to go back to the Criteria Crab Portal and then cross Criteria. So, not the best thing ever. MM2 is actually having a little bit of trouble with this Batuan fight. Precious Room is just a missile. I do expect MM2 to pick that up if he checks it. Not actually guaranteed he will, though. See if he gets this full halfie. Nicely done. Health is getting a bit low, but it is just Fantoon coming up. And with both suits, MM2 will be fine with that. Gonna pick up this missile. Actually, he didn't go to Aqueduct yet. So he'll probably do that on the way out. Be very happy about the double super there. And then that will be his go mode. Got some dueling fin. Nice stutter Doppler there from Chow, actually. Got a few supers in. Or a few missiles. Sorry. Two as well. Both runners showing their expertise at this fight. Very close to getting that 3 round. Looks like it's going to be a safe 4 round, but is going to get a 3 round though, with a little bit better patterns, and is actually going to be. We see Fantoon exploding on both screens. Pretty hype. synchronized jumping across Coliseum. MM2 doing a Mapo strat, which I don't think was faster, but that's okay. This is faster, actually, going down the sand pit if you are going to check the aqueduct items. Just spawn you right here, and we're going to do this nice little short charge. And we'll get rewarded with this double super forget mode. There were a few other options that MM2 could have checked on his way to Turian. The most notable being Gauntlet. There's a couple ammo checks at the back there. Plus the front could have just been charge, which would have been kind of funny. Yeah, MM2 is just going back through criteria. The other option was to go up Red Tower to single chamber and then go across Upper Norfair, but I do think that would have been not like a huge time loss, but it would have been in the ballpark of 30 seconds slower. Now we are looking at a sub 50 seed though for MM2, as long as this Turian goes acceptably. So he'll be hitting Turian, he'll be hitting the elevator at about 40-20. Turian on this loadout will take around 7 minutes if he gets baby skip. It's going to be a bit of an awkward baby skip without that wave beam, actually. So, might lose a little bit of time there, especially if he misses it. Obviously going to lose 30 seconds. Actually, I forgot that portal wasn't Turian. I forgot this was Green Brain, and we actually had one more area to go through. I was like, MM2's at the end, but not quite. Got a little bit further to go. Chow, meanwhile, on his Ridley fight at Wreck Ship, actually entered through the back of Wreck Ship, which was at 2. That was our last portal that we didn't. But here's our turret. It's a little bit closer than it was before, but again, with a good Turian, this is sub 50 for MM2. So really fast seed, which makes sense with how much the game gave us early on. We're gonna put those bombs to good use that he got from behind Ridley, grouping all the Metroids and using the bombs to shake them off. Doesn't have space jump to do some really fancy Metroid room strats, but just some safe fast strats we're seeing here. So we'll see how this baby skip goes. MM2 is a known boomer skipper, so that is something to keep in mind. Not that you could really do a pistachio skip with this loadout, or maybe you can. I'm not super familiar. You can break all the blocks in time. There's like a power bomb you can use to do it. Good. That was a sketchy last jump, but we are through. Everything's fine. MM2 does have enough supers to just super through these doors. Doesn't need to bother with a refill. Yeah, to take the save though. I do like this play in his position again. Not only is he the more experienced runner, but he also, I think he feels like he god routed the seat a little bit, because he kind of did. Not that it was a super hard god route to hit, but you know, getting every item super early, like the only possible bad thing that could happen, or I guess the only way this route could have gone better is if charge was on path somewhere. So we could have skipped a couple minutes of collecting ammo. Yeah, with 34... 78 missiles, I believe. So he's got 10 missiles of leeway. That is usually the number. As long as you don't mess anything up. Using 3 supers on the door, when you have an extra super pack entering the turret, you'll have 10 missiles of leeway. Pretty comfortable position, usually what most players are going for when they're playing ammo. MM2 did miss a couple missiles, but should be fine. But it is a little awkward missing more than 1 missile, because that first missile was kind of a gimme, but missing 2 missiles meant that he could miss 1 less super. Super is equivalent to 3 missiles. And he only had 8 missiles extra, so could have only missed 2 supers, but obviously didn't miss any. Fight went smoothly for MM2. Chow still needs to finish up that lower north edge. I believe the back of LN linked to Main Street. I can actually check. Let's correct me. So he'll be able to do that. He's going to check Mama Turtle first, but unfortunately it is just another reserve. Be interested to see where charge was in this seed, because it has to be buried pretty much. We've checked a lot of items, because MM2 has been very thorough. Running out of places where that charge beam could be hiding, but there are still a few. So caioxg is going to find that back of LN, going to do that now. Heading towards that last boss. Unfortunately, MM2 is probably going to fail. He actually wasn't making too bad pace. This was close to sub-hour, depending on how he routes after killing the boss in LN. Not actually sure what the fastest route from LN to Turian is. I guess you go to the front and then do the same thing that MM2 did. Go to the right side of Criteria and then cross to Business Center and Greenburn. So you do it back to front LN. I think that would be the fastest method. But again, not going to matter too much. MM2 is less than a minute from finishing now. Going to be a mid-49. Really good time for a race. Obviously, as I've already mentioned, this was a very generous seed early game. There's all of Answer chat. I don't think Chow checked anything in Croc. I actually don't think he's seen the Croc order. I don't think he went up Red Brand elevator. But he has done a lot more checks, and MM2 has just been gaming. Believe it or not, the number 3 seed in the tournament is a very difficult opponent, as MM2 is going to finish with an official time of 49. caioxg will take the forfeit. So that will do it for the first race. We've got one more scheduled though. I believe I'll be joined by Glove on commentary. So that will be starting shortly. We will see you then.